Hello and welcome. I'm going to be going live shortly with Megan Gersch. Really excited. So if you're watching this replay later, just fast forward a few minutes. All right, let's see if we can do this. Is it going to show me her here? No, that would make it too easy. Let's try that button. Hi, thanks so much for joining. Hello there, just hopping on this Monday afternoon, and the one and only Megan Gersch will be joining me shortly to talk all things marketing and growing your business. Hi there, I'm Jill. Let me know if you have any questions about marketing or growing your business online. I'm going to be joined momentarily by Megan Gersch, and we're going to be talking all things marketing your business online. Hey there, thanks so much for joining. I'm Jill. I'm a marketing consultant, coach, and teacher, and here to see how I can help you grow your business. And I'm going to be going live with the one and only Megan Gersch. There she is. We'll be here together. There she is. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm just finishing up. Mondays are usually like my CEO days. So like doing some of those kind of like, taking a State of the Union a little bit and seeing where things are at. But how are you? What's going on your end?
I'm good. Mondays are my no meetings. Yeah, catch up on like admin and life for my business as well. And I managed to get through my inbox this morning, so I'm in bed right now. I've been lying here watching Netflix for the last few hours.
That's awesome.
One of those Mondays. How was your kind of State of the Union admin going?
It's been good. So I don't know if you've seen my TikToks about this. So I've recently invested in some business coaching.
Saw that, yeah.
And so Yeah, like I've just started doing like these like CEO dates with myself to really like get tabs on like what's happening, where are the numbers at, like how are we on track to hit our goals? Are we lagging a little bit behind? Like where do we need to kind of put more effort? But it's been really, really eye-opening to kind of do that every week. I just feel like up until this point, I've just kind of like flown by the seat of my pants, just like, like get things done every week. And I just like,
Yeah.
obviously there's marketing going out and stuff like that, but like this is much more pointed in the approach and it's really helping me to stay on track with certain things. So that's been great.
Got it. And so, like, what is one of the things that you do now to sort of stay on track of what's going on in the business?
So I take a moment to take a look at like all the metrics going on. So I take a look at like, how many people are coming into the email list, how many like take note of like the metrics from social media that I'm tracking, taking a look at like what my like 90-day goals are, and then seeing like, okay, are we putting in place like different strategies this week that are going to push us that way? And also just taking some time to like plug some self-care into my calendar and like making sure that I actually take care of myself, and just getting ready for the upcoming week, like checking the calendar, seeing if there's any appointments, seeing what's going on. So
Good chance to do that. And to those just joining, hello, I'm Jill and I'm here with Megan. And do we have a topic for today? I think just kind of answering folks' questions and talking about
yeah.
growing your business, right?
Yeah, totally. So if anybody has any like marketing questions or Google questions, Jill's an amazing resource. Please do ask away in the chat. Would love to know if folks are tuning in right now too. If you have a business, tell us like a little bit about your business in the chat, and maybe what you're working on right now.
Yeah. My latest thing in my business is my book. I'm writing a book about Google Ads, and I started it almost a month ago now, I guess. And just met with an editor on Friday for the first time, and he really liked the first draft. So it was like the first time I showed it to anyone, and that felt really good. So planning to self-publish that by September. So that's kind of been a big focus for me right now in my business.
That's awesome. Are you doing Amazon KDP?
Yes, that's the plan. So TikTok is an amazing resource for that. Been learning a lot from folks and planning to self-publish on Amazon for the hard copy. And then for like an online only copy, not sure if I'll go through that or do it directly or what we'll do from there. Still figuring it out.
That's so awesome. Like, have you always wanted to write a book, or is it something that like you had an idea and you were just like, let's just do it?
You know what's funny is like I've always wanted to write a book. I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I never had a plan for either. I became an entrepreneur accidentally. And the book writing, I didn't set out to write a book. I set out to write a blog post. And then I sat up and it was 30 pages. And I was like, okay, so this is not a blog post. This is a book. And it's going to be a series. So it's a series, like, because Google Ads is so large and complicated. It's like one aspect of Google Ads, which is audience targeting, be this book, and then I'm planning for it to be a series and coming out with a new one every couple months. So yeah, I always knew I'd write a book, but like I never thought or knew it would be about. I didn't know people wrote books about Google Ads until I read one a few months ago, and I was like, that was really good, and I can do that too.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Would love to know if you're watching right now, do you run Google Ads? Are you doing Google Ads for your business? I personally have not done Google Ads for my business. I mean, thankfully, I don't feel like I have had to just because of TikTok has been so amazing. But I know it can be a little bit of a costly investment.
It definitely can. I see one person here, Matt, is saying yes, they have. Yeah, it absolutely can be costly, and more so now than even a year ago. You know, the advice I generally have given to people is unless you can spend a bare minimum of $600 a month on ads, don't spend the money. And like now I'm starting to adjust that upwards to like $1,000 a month just because so much more of it is automated. And in order, it's like the catch 22, in order for the systems to learn what works well, you need to spend a lot of money so that they can drive good results. And so many small business owners can't. So yeah, it's been great that you've been able to grow your business through organic means. And I've done the same thing, which I say is the ultimate irony that I'm a Google Ads expert who grows my business organically, right?
That's awesome though. I feel like there's like a lot of what I hear from business owners a lot is like they wind up starting ads way too early in their business and they don't realize like how much of an investment it is like upfront to, you know, do the testing and like, you know, $20 a day on ads, like it doesn't sound like a lot, but like that adds up like over the course of a month, like, you know, you have other things going on in your business. There's other expenses.
It absolutely adds up. And I think a lot of people think as well, like, I will spend the money and then I will make more sales. And they forget about that middle piece, which I know you focus on a lot, just like making sure the website can actually take that traffic and convert it into sales. That's why I say to new business owners, like, don't spend money on ads. You don't even know if people want what you're offering. You don't know who wants what you're offering. And ads is not a shortcut to figuring that out at all, unfortunately. If it were, then I'd have an even bigger business than I do now.
Yeah. If anybody's watching, if you have questions about marketing or ads or any of the small business things, feel free to ask away in the comments. Would also love to know if you run a business, what type of business you have, and where you're tuning in from. I usually have folks on the lives that kind of tune in from all over the world, which is super cool.
Super cool indeed. I see a comment from Matt. Yeah, and the logistics of making sure that your analytics is set up and your targeting is on. Absolutely. There are so many things you need to have in place in your business first. We have an e-commerce business based out of Oceanside, California. Another Californian in here with you, Megan.
Awesome.
Well, I was fortunate enough recently to have a session with you, Megan, really helped me figure out my website and my branding. I've made a few changes since then. I've been working on it. Changed some of the colors. I love that series you do where you talk about what the different colors say about your brand.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Changing some of the wording. And also one thing you pointed out that made so much sense and like should be obvious so it wasn't to me is just the colors on your site, how that's like telling users what to expect there. And so for me, there was like this blue color that I loved that I was using for my headlines and my links. And you point out how even something like that is probably just really hurting my conversion rate and performance on my website because people don't know then when they see the blue, like, can I click on this? Can I not? What's going to happen here? So I found that very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's such an easy thing to change too that it's just like when you hear that it's like, oh, like we just need to be training the user on like if you want to use blue for like your clickable things, use it for all of your links and buttons and like we just automatic just because we've been on the internet for so long now, like we know to look for consistencies like in and color is like one way that we can do that. So if we start to see that what like links are blue, we will just continue to look through for blue pieces throughout the page. So
Yeah.
I have a comment on this side that says, I write children's books, but I need help. I messed up on trying to make a website. Sure, if you have specific questions, I would be happy to help. I am a website designer, so happy to help with any questions you might have. This is something that I hear from a lot of business owners, though. I mean, it's tough. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, I hate to say it, but like that's kind of why website designers exist. Like it's, I hear from a lot of business owners that like, oh, I tried to make my own website and it wound up being a lot harder than I thought. And it's like, yeah. hence, hence why I have a job.
It's true. And I think it's the same with many specialty. People come to me, I tried to run the ads by myself and it didn't work. And I don't know if the problem is the ads or me. And I'm like, well, millions of people around the world use Google ads. I'm not going to say it's not complicated, but I'm sure Google's not the problem here. How do we say that nicely?
Yeah. I mean, one big tip that I would give you too when it comes to, making your website kind of look good and look professional is take a look at other websites that you really enjoy that are in your target, like competitors of yours, and see what their websites look like. So, take a look at the layout of the website. What do you see first? What do you see second? How are they telling people to take action and buy their books? Taking little notes from like all of the visuals that you see on your competitors' websites can be super helpful. And then also thinking about like, okay, if they're doing this, how can I like differentiate in a way? So if they're positioning one way, like how can I like separate myself from everybody else?
And thank you for the love, Jojo. If anyone wants to learn about Facebook ads, by the way, Yoshi Bear J in here is like the king of Facebook ads. So Google ads follow me, Facebook ads follow him. And actually, one more thing related to that, Megan, that you shared with me that I thought was so helpful is like the thought of designing my website or redoing my website again is so overwhelming to me, which is why I'm looking to outsource it. But you also advised me to look at my competitors' just social media presence, like their Instagram profiles, because that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of a step before a website. It has
Yeah.
its own complications, of course. And so that was really helpful to me. Like I'd never even looked at other people who do Google ads on Instagram. And I saw some things I thought they were doing well and some things I thought they weren't doing well. And so that was something I was like, okay, overhauling my website doesn't feel doable to me right now, but I can definitely make some changes to my Instagram profile right now to kind of get me ready for that next step.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I have a question on this side that says, do you help by splitting payments? I think you maybe mean if you were to hire me to do a website design, maybe that's what you mean. I typically do all of the payment up front. And the reason for that is like, if you were to go to Amazon, they don't split payments. You were to buy anything online, like they don't split payments. Um, I've just been burned in the past, quite honestly, and it's it's just my policy.
I agree with that. There's a question over from Stallion Host. Hi there. My website is red and black, old colors, which is kind of old fashioned, and I want to make some changes to the colors. Um, Tell us a bit more about your business, Stallion Host, and I'm sure Megan would have some good advice for you. Oh, however, I don't want to make it completely changed. Okay, still typing there. And then someone, hey, we launched a strategy platform. We created a list of 5K emails. Any advice for sending cold emails? I don't have advice for that. I personally, it's not something I've employed in my sales strategy before. And you're actually not allowed to use cold email lists and ads. So I don't have any advice there. Megan, is that something you've ever done before, cold emails?
Yeah. So before I got on TikTok, I was sending a lot of cold email. So I am very, very familiar with cold email. I actually have a whole podcast episode on this. If you want to check out my podcast, it's called Your Sparkly Brand. There's a whole episode dedicated to, I think it's actually an episode where we split it up into two episodes. So bonus there. But I mean, the ultimate thing when it comes to cold email is making sure that you get in front of the right person, and then personalizing it so that you kind of stand out from other providers, is going to be the important thing. So like making sure that if you thinking about like what you're selling, so like is it going to be, let's say for example, when I was sending mine, I was saying like, oh, I wanted to get in front of the marketing manager because I was providing a graphic design service, right? So just making sure that it's the person that would hire you that you're emailing, and then personalizing it for that.
Absolutely. So, as a continuation of a question here, Stallion Host has a boat rental company, and The website is kind of red and black, and they're thinking of making some changes to the colors. Any gut reaction, Megan, if for a boat rental company using red and black in their branding right now, what those might be saying about that brand, or a different color you might suggest thinking about?
I mean, it really depends. I mean, it's hard for me to kind of
Of course, yeah.
just off of that like one sentence description. You ultimately want to choose your colors around like how you want people to feel about your brand. I did a whole color series on my page about this. If you go back in my TikTok, you can take a look at like what each color basically represents. And then you can kind of reverse engineer that, right? So you can say like, okay, I want this to be a fun and playful brand, maybe use these colors. Or if you want it to be a more luxury type vibe, like, that's going to be a whole different set of colors, and reverse engineer it that way. It doesn't really matter as much the type of, I mean, sometimes it does, but like the type of company is almost like secondary to what you want your customers to feel about your brand. So there's always going to be like exceptions to this. Like if you're an eco-friendly brand, obviously you probably want to incorporate some kind of green, like stuff like that is like kind of obvious, but it really depends on like what vibe you're going for. So if it's like a high-end yacht rental, maybe it's like very luxury. That might look different than like if you're renting out like fishing boats. So you see how like in your mind, you probably already make the distinction of like what that looks like. So
Yeah.
hopefully that helps.
Starting with the way you want someone to feel about your brand rather than starting with just what you do.
Yeah. I have some comments on this side. Amazon uses Affirm now. Maybe that's what she meant. I do not. Sorry. Hey, what's the most reliable source for payments and finance collections for a typical site? I'm looking for easier and more reliable solutions for checkout purposes. It really depends on what platform you build your site on. Most platforms use Stripe is pretty reliable. That's what I use.
Me too.
I've had some clients that want to integrate like PayPal and like Affirm different types of processors. Stripe, I feel like, is pretty standard. But
Yeah, and I will say like Affirm and Klarna and those are often, you can't use them for services. You can actually only use most of them to buy products, not services.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions on your side?
I had a comment here. The only Inspiration 1983 says the only reason to use ads is to market your place. You only do this if you already have success. I wouldn't say that's the only reason to use ads, but for the most part, I agree. I don't recommend launching a business and then running ads to launch the business. I recommend starting your business using organic growth tactics like what we're doing right now on TikTok. And then once you figure out what works, meaning what audience is resonating with your offer, what creative is driving that audience to your website, and that it's converting, then put ad money behind what's already working. Like when I worked at Google, I worked with companies that spent $1 million a day on ads. Like it would blow your freaking mind. And it just is the money printing machine. Most businesses I worked with are more in the like 5 to 6 figures a day. But definitely in this day and age, it's just data is data and bigger is better. And it's really hard to achieve that level of success at really low budget. So definitely get some organic success first and then put ad dollars behind what's already working. Like, for example, start posting on TikTok and then maybe you have 1 or 2 videos that do really well, not like a go viral, do really well, but like high engagement and like driving sales for you. Okay, then put some ad dollars behind those TikToks and boost them out to more people. That would be more effective than just jumping on TikTok from day one and launching TikTok ads, not knowing who your audience is or what kind of creative would resonate.
Yeah, isn't there like a difference too between like, I think I've maybe seen one of your TikToks about this before where it's like Facebook ads are more for like kind of like nice to have type items and Google ads are more for like you need this type items.
Yeah, it's a difference in intent because on Google, I mean, on Google Ads, you can do like video and display and whatever, but search is what we think of when we think Google Ads. So with Google, like someone is going to Google, they're searching for something, and so they're telling that search box exactly what they're looking for. So all you
Mm-hmm.
need to do is have a solution, like they're searching for boat rental near me. You either have the solution or not, or you don't.
But on Facebook and TikTok and LinkedIn and other platforms, people aren't searching. They're starting to more on TikTok and other places, but you can't run search ads yet. So somewhere like TikTok to advertise that same boat rental, you don't know who's actively looking for a boat rental anytime. Your job instead, rather than waiting for them to tell you, I'm looking for a boat rental, is to show why your boat rentals are so awesome and get them to want to rent a boat with you. So we say that Google is about capturing intent. Someone's already searching, you just solve their problem. Whereas something like Facebook or TikTok, you have to create that intent by getting in front of the right person who you think would want a boat rental, and then getting them to then come to your website and seek you out. And so as a result, the conversion rate tends to be lower because, they weren't really looking for that at that time, but the cost per click also tends to be lower. So for any given business, some do better on Google, some do better on Facebook, some do better on TikTok. It just depends on a lot of factors.
That is very helpful. You want to talk about like TikTok for a little bit, like things you have learned, or like what's if somebody was like starting their TikTok, if there's like a brand new business that is getting on TikTok, what's like their top three pieces of advice you would give them?
Oh, yeah, I talk about this a lot. I'm actually putting together a workshop for this as well. So I think one of the first pieces of advice I would give a business owner for getting started on TikTok is to consume TikTok. Hey, Austin, is to consume TikTok before you try to create for TikTok. I think there are a lot of businesses now who are used to Instagram. They're like, oh, I need a TikTok. Let me just post my reels there. And they like never even open up the app. And we know that the culture of every social media app is different, just like the culture of every country is different. So I think the first advice I give is start consuming TikTok. And if you are not your target customer, then try to start consuming TikTok like your target customer would. For example, I recently met with a company who's trying to reach 14 to 18-year-olds, but they're 30-year-olds who work there. I was like, do you have any like nieces or nephews who use TikTok who you could just sit beside them on a couch for 30 minutes while they consume it, just to understand them before you start to create for them? So I guess that'd be number one. Number two, I would say consistency more than quantity. I think in the beginning, people think they have to post 3 to 5 times a day. And like I did when I started, but I don't know. I think it's better to like post twice a week, but post twice a week every week than to post 10 times one week and none the next. So that would be my second piece of advice. I have to think about the third. What about you, Megan? What would be some of your advice for someone just getting started on TikTok?
I think like getting really clear on like what you want to do on this app is going to be extremely important. So like, um, getting clear on like what you want to give to the community, what type of content you want to start creating. Obviously, in the beginning, like you might need to experiment with a few different types of content pieces to see like what people actually want and need. But getting clear also on like your personality on the app, like are you going to be informational, are you going to be funny, are you going to be like there's accounts that like go out and like do good deeds for people and like stuff like that. Like what is your goal with the app, and like ultimately what do you want people to do? Like I'm a website designer, obviously I have like website design resources, I have TikTok help like resources at the link in my bio, but like thinking about like once you get people off of social media, what do you want them to do? Because that's going to help to drive like your content strategy.
Absolutely. And I think there's one more I put on that actually, if Austin's still here, I don't know if I stole this from you or not, because I definitely saw you say this as well. But like for TikTok, the majority of your content is designed to reach new people and get them to hear about you. The majority of TikTok content is not designed to like sell, sell, sell. And I think that's another mistake people get. They jump on, they're like, oh, look, here are my new bracelets, and look, here, order this hat. But it's really just designed to get people to know who you are. And like I see the power of that now in my business, where I have clients coming to me now and they'll say, oh, I've been seeing you on TikTok for months and months and months. And someone mentioned, Google ads, and they're like, the Google Pro. Like it just comes, the Google, oh, Google, you have to talk to the Google Pro. And so I think that's a key part of it as well, is just getting your name out there. It's not going to blow up your sales necessarily in month one, but by month 6 and 7 and 8 and 9, it's just going to be consistently bringing in leads. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting that you kind of put it that way, because I have recently had a client that was asking me, you know, from the day that somebody starts following me on TikTok, what day are they going to buy for me? And I was like, I don't know. Like it might be 6 months down the line. It might be 2 years down the line. it's one of those things where it's like, I'm not tracking those types of metrics that closely. And I feel like it would drive me crazy to do so. You know what I mean? Like somebody follows and then I have to like enter that into a spreadsheet or something. Like maybe there's like an opportunity there for if you have like a metrics company or something. But
I do look at it the other way around though. Like when someone books with me, I look back and I see like, are they on my email list? And I can see like when they join my email list, which is kind of a good signal. And then I'll ask, like I meet with a lot of marketers. And so I've had some say that they opened up TikTok, searched Google Ads, looked at my videos, a few other people, and then booked me. And then I've had others who I can see that like they signed up for my email list a year ago when I used my last CRM and have been like following along forever. And then finally booked. There's a question here, how to utilize TikTok for B2B. And I think it's what Megan and I have been talking about here is just like share value, demonstrate your expertise, offer value for your target customer, and then they will come to you when they're ready. You can't control when someone's going to be ready for your services, but you can control, the content you put out there and making them aware of what you do.
Yeah. And like, I think like it's important to think about TikTok as kind of like the top of your funnel. So you have like different marketing initiatives that maybe you have an email list, maybe you have other social media. But again, like thinking about like what your end goal is. And TikTok should really be like the first point of contact. Like it should be like, okay, I'm just learning about this person. They've popped up on my feed a few times. Like maybe I'm going to follow them. Maybe you mentioned something in your content where it's like, ooh, like they have a freebie that I really want to check out, or like this person is constantly delivering value. Like they will probably give me even more value if I go get this freebie that they have to offer, which will put you on their email list and like you'll hear from them more often, that kind of thing. But really like mapping out what that funnel, I keep saying, I don't know like a better like term for it other than just like a funnel. But
Journey?
mapping out what that funnel looks like is like, step 1 is TikTok. Step 2 is getting them on the email list. Step 3 is this. Step 4 is that. And figuring out what that looks like for your business. It's going to make everything much more clear. It's going to make the content that you create a bit more clear to attract people into your business and to drive people to those next steps.
Absolutely. There's a question here from Abby about YouTube ads, which are run through Google. What is the best targeting strategy for YouTube ads? Keywords, placements, or topics? I'm actually going to say none of the above, and that it's audiences. Those are all great options. Basically, when you run ads on YouTube or you run any kind of ads, there are two ways to choose who you want to see your ads. You can show ads to people based on who they are, audience targeting, like people who are moms or dads or business people or whatever. And then there's showing ads to people based on what they're doing. So what keywords they're searching for, what kind of videos they're watching, topics and specific placements. And they both have benefits, but I'm a fan of the audience targeting side. I'm actually writing a whole book about audience targeting right now because I think that topic is so interesting. So with YouTube ads, when you're just getting started, I recommend starting with an audience-based targeting strategy rather than just a content-based targeting strategy.
Can you talk like a little bit about not ads based, but like, have you been posting much on YouTube? Like, is it a part of your marketing strategy?
It is. So for me, my funnel, so to speak, is like I create for TikTok and then I use repurpose.io to then post all that to YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, and I'm missing one. Oh, and I've recently started playing around with Facebook Reels, so that's not automatic now. So I have created a few kind of longer form videos just for YouTube, but for the most part, it is just reposted TikToks, and I've gotten to about 600 subscribers that way. So I don't have a short specific strategy. From an ads perspective, ads are coming to Shorts, which as a user kind of sucks, but as a Google Ads specialist is very exciting. And we've also started to see YouTube Shorts show up in other places, like on Google's Discover feed, which is kind of like the Google News app. They're starting to put Shorts there and other places. So yeah, that's how my content strategy goes. And then Instagram, I would say, has been my number 2 platform. And so I'll create posts and things there that are really just my TikTok videos turned into carousels or things like that. But more recently, in the last couple of months, Twitter and LinkedIn have become a much more important, not more important, like before it was like all about TikTok and everything else down here. And now up in importance have come Twitter and LinkedIn. And I have a really different audience there. And I know you and I have spoken about this, Megan, but that's what's been really cool for my business is I have like the Google Pro and what I do here. on YouTube and on Instagram. But then on these other social channels, I have a completely different audience of like fellow Google Ads experts and marketing industry people. And I sell different products there and I have different services there and I get to talk about different things there. And so it's been kind of cool to maintain these like two different businesses on social media that both drive my revenue in different ways.
Yeah. Yeah. That was like a question that got posed to me like very early on. And like when I started my business is like, do you want to serve business owners or do you want to serve other designers? Cause it's like, you really could do like, it just depends on like what you want to do. Of course I chose the business owner route, but maybe I'll add that down the line. I don't know. It just seems like a lot to kind of like keep up with.
It definitely is a lot, but I guess the Google Pro one, because I've been doing it for more than a year now, like it doesn't require as much ongoing attention. Like I would say half of my TikToks now are just reposts from 3 to 6 months ago. But good advice from someone that like no one's watching you that closely. They're not going to notice that you're reposting an old video. It's okay. And so I'd say a lot more of my time has been focused on like the other Google Ads side. And like actually now I have more Twitter and LinkedIn followers than Instagram followers, even though I've been like working on my Instagram for so much longer. And it's just, yeah, a different dimension to my business, which has been pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's a question here from ID 91190. How to be performant with Performance Max? Performance Max. It's the newest type of campaign in Google Ads. And it uses like more automation than you've ever seen before, which means that it can do really cool things, but is also really intimidating. So for you, I would recommend two things. One, I just posted on Instagram a post about Performance Max. So it has a picture of me and it has yellow writing. So that would be really helpful. And then I also just wrote this article for WordStream, which is one of the leading blogs in the industry, about 10 tips for Performance Max. So if you Google WordStream and then Jyll with a Y, it'll probably come up. And so that rather than dominating the whole rest of our live talking about that, I think that'll be the best way to get you the info you need about Performance Max.
I have a question on this side. Do you think Google ads are better than TikTok ads?
I don't think any platform is better than any other platform. They all have some different capabilities and some similar capabilities, and it really depends more on your business and also where you feel more comfortable. Like I'm always going to drive the best results with Google ads because that's a platform I know best. If you work with someone who knows like TikTok ads better, they're going to drive better results there. So I think it comes more down to your business and your brand and where you feel most comfortable, what your budget is, what your creative looks like, all those things. And that is more going to determine which one might be better for you. Ultimately, you just never know till you test. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good rule to stick to with any kind of marketing.
Absolutely. Never done, like I tested Pinterest, like reposting to Pinterest as well. And I did it for 3 months. And I was just like, it wasn't working. Measuring working by, is it getting people to both follow me on Pinterest and visit my website? And it wasn't achieving either of those. And I was like, you know what? That's okay. Let me save this like 20 minutes a week, whatever it's doing, and focus on something else instead. But I didn't just try it for 1 week. Like I tried it for 3 months and then I was like, okay, I'm moving on.
Yeah.
Have there been certain channels you tried, Megan, that just didn't work out for you?
I'm in the same boat with Pinterest right now. I've been trying to ramp up my strategy there. So I did the same thing as you. I did like a 3-month kind of sprint with Pinterest. It got me like a lot of followers. It got me a lot of like views, but again, like wasn't getting a lot of clicks to my website. But now that Pinterest has the creator rewards program, I'm like trying to ramp up my strategy again to try to get into that. So now I'm just waiting to see if, because a lot of the creator rewards is like based on like your idea pins and like how many saves and shares or like whatever you get from there. So I'm just like in my head, I'm like, I'm cranking out all this TikTok content, even if I just repurpose it over there, like, that's basically just like, I already made it, like, yeah. So.
Absolutely. And Elowen is here saying, same for me with Pinterest. Yeah, it's definitely a trickier one.
Yeah. I have another question on this side. What is the difference between your Google Ads course and what is the difference between your Google Ads course and a free Google course? The Google free course.
Yes. So Google offers free Google Ads certifications. There are actually 7 of them now. that you can take. And so those are going to teach you all the theory of Google Ads, which is excellent. And I recommend for everyone because it's free. What they don't teach you, which my course does, is how to actually do it in Google Ads. Like it doesn't give you any actual training, open up the platform, like how to create a campaign. It won't tell you that. It'll tell you what a phrase match versus a broad match versus an exact match keyword is. It won't show you how to pick keywords and how to put them in your account. So my course is designed, almost every lesson is like me screen sharing with me in a bubble, showing you how to do stuff in Google Ads. And then sometimes I might say in the description, I'll give you the 2 to 3 minute, what you need to know to do this in Google Ads. And if you want to learn more, like here's the full shebang that Google would say about this. So mine is more designed for people who want to be practitioners.
Makes sense.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I see the ultimate mashup. Thanks, Lloyd. I think that's you and me, the ultimate mashup. Hello says, what are your thoughts on focusing on organic growth versus paid ads? We both talked about this a bit earlier in the live, but like absolutely, even as someone who makes a living helping people with their ads, I would say focus on organic growth first. Ad money is best spent when it follows what's working well organically rather than trying to start from paid ads. So I would absolutely say focus on organic growth first. It takes more time rather than money. I like to say like organic growth, paid ads, it all takes resources. It's just, is the resource your time or is it the resource money? And organic growth takes more time, but is absolutely worth it first, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think one of the most important things to understand about ads, and I've been out of the game for a few years at this point, but when I did run like heavy Facebook ads and that kind of thing for my last company that I worked for, like if your piece of if the piece of organic content is not performing, like what's the use in like putting money behind it is just going to push a bad piece of content further, So like that's why it's so important to find a well-performing piece of content first and then put money to push that good piece of content even further. So
absolutely. And I'll add to that as well, good performing does not mean the most views.
Right.
Like the thing with the most views is not necessarily the thing that's like driving your business or reaching the right audience or whatever it might be. So when you are focusing on organic growth, like of course we all want views, we all want followers. Those are lovely and nice as well. But like what are those posts that maybe don't have as many views, but that like really drive engagement, like a ton of comments or a ton of shares, which you can see on your own videos, or even a ton of sales. Like when I get someone from TikTok, I might say to them, probe a little bit, like how they've been following me for a while, or did they see one video that convinced them they should hire me? And when I do, it is not the videos with a ton of views that's designed to just get people to know I exist. It's those 10% of videos I do that are focused on my course or my coaching that close people who already saw all that other content, and that's what brought them in.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost always the case is like, if you're talking about a product, most of the time, somebody that's just seeing you for the first time is going to be like, oh, ad scroll. And then but the people that are like really kind of like in like your core following, like your core people that watch all of your videos are like, oh, finally they have produced something that I need this product, So
yeah, like something that I did on, I ran some YouTube ads for my course and I just took one of the lessons and made it the YouTube ad, right? And so if someone's going to watch, I mean, as long as they watch at least 6 seconds, I can then remarket to them later, show them ads again. But I had people watching that ad for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and like that's immensely valuable to me so they can see, what my course is like.
Yeah.
And hello.
Have you done any like TikTok ads for your own account or for clients?
I have not. I've set up my TikTok for Business ads account. I'm planning to run them. I don't have the right creative yet. I haven't figured out what the creative is going to be. And so that's why I haven't run any ads yet. But, some of the paid ads communities I'm in, I hear about TikTok ads a lot. And one of the things I'm most excited about is that TikTok is testing search ads on the TikTok platform. And so that's something, even though I'm a Google ads expert, I know enough about Facebook ads that I can speak to that generally. And I'm very interested in what the search ad offering will be on TikTok. And, I wouldn't be surprised if Instagram comes out with something similar, but I've not personally run any yet.
Can you explain what a search ad is to those that are watching?
Yes, absolutely. So a search ad means someone is typing into a search bar somewhere exactly what they're looking for. So you come to TikTok, you're looking for small business marketing tips, and you type that in and then see all the video results come up. TikTok has started testing letting people show ads there. So rather than only showing you just the results that happen to contain those keywords you were searching for, I could decide that I want to place an ad whenever someone searches Google Ads on TikTok, so they would see my video about Google Ads specifically. And so that's something I've seen screenshots of people testing. It's not fully rolled out yet, but I think be really powerful because I think a lot of us have seen those headlines. Oh, TikTok is the new search engine and Gen Z turns there to search. And when we think of search ads, we typically think of going to Google, typing something into Google, and then seeing the ads at the top of the page there. YouTube, of course, is also a search engine. You know, sometimes on YouTube you see ads because ads will show up before the content you want to watch, but sometimes you search for something on YouTube and some of your results are ads. So Google really has had a lock on that, at least in the Western world for quite some time. But TikTok is testing that, and I wouldn't be surprised if Instagram and Facebook test that too.
Yeah. Yeah, YouTube is like so wild. Like I just had an experience recently where like it's like a video I posted like probably like a year and a half ago has just recently started getting some traction. And like when I first posted it, it was just like crickets. But
Yeah.
now that the video is about TikTok, and so now that TikTok has surpassed Google in page
I
views, it's just
question
like,
how that was all calculated, but yes.
but yeah, that video has ever since then just like taken off, and I was just like, wow, like you really just never know, like when you're creating content, like it can be crickets today, but a year from now it can get momentum again. Like it's crazy.
YouTube is great for that. I would say my TikToks generally have a shelf life of like 3-ish months, though there are like one or two random videos that I posted more than a year ago, not even viral ones, but like somehow they just keep, there's one about how I got my job at Google, which I would never post that now because that's not my content now. But in the beginning, I was trying everything out to see what worked, and that video just keeps racking up the views and racking up the views even more than a year later.
It's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely. I've had two videos get more than 100,000 views, like my two big videos, and I remember thinking both of them. I was like, this one's gonna be okay. Like both of them sat in the drafts for a while, and then I've had other ones where I'm like, oh, this is so good, and then it's like, the views do not think so.
Oh, any other questions you guys have about business marketing, any of the things? Happy to help you guys out. And if you're just
Yeah.
joining, let us know what type of business you have or where you're tuning in from as well.
We've been talking about quite a few things today. We're talking about website design. You were talking about branding for your website, different colors. We talked about TikTok for business and how to grow your business on TikTok. We've been talking about Google Ads. People asking specific questions about that. It's been an all-encompassing chat today about marketing your business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love it.
Me too. Me too. And I guess it's always fun. Like we are marketers and we are business owners, and then we help people who are also business owners and work with marketers. It's a fun loop. It all gets to go in together.
Yeah. Have you been testing anything in your marketing lately? Like doing any experiments or anything?
I actually have, yes. And this is actually inspired by Austin at Socialty Pro. If anyone's watching, follow him. He's great. Posting my TikToks onto Facebook Reels. That's been a new test for me. I have zero Facebook presence, like zero followers from scratch. And I just finished the experiment, so I haven't like made the TikTok video about it yet, but I've been posting a reel a day for 30 days on Facebook Reels, all repurposed TikToks. And the results are fascinating. So on Facebook, zero followers. On Instagram, I have like 1,700 followers, and I post more reels there, more content there. But over the last 30 days, I've gotten more reach on Facebook than Instagram by posting one reel a day, even though I have zero Facebook followers and whatever on Instagram. But profile visits, only 22 out of the 10,000, people my video went in front of, and still zero followers.
Yeah.
Whereas on Instagram, even though the reach was a bit lower, like 500 profile visits and like, 50 or 100 new followers. So I'm still like digesting how to simplify that into a 30-second explanation. But it's like the reach is absolutely there and just getting in front of more people. Great. But like the engagement like hasn't hit the right audience yet. But I still think it's fascinating. Like it was pretty low effort to post one reel a day on Facebook and get 10,000 eyeballs in a month. So that was my latest marketing experiment.
Are you doing them on your business page or on your personal page?
Business. I don't have a personal page. I don't use Facebook. So on my business page. And I've heard the personal is better.
That's what Austin was telling me. He's been experimenting on both, but he's been seeing better results on personal. I was talking about this with my friend Steph Tinsley the other day when we did a live together, but I hear you, Austin. If you're still watching, like I totally hear you on this strategy, but like it just like it like hanging out on Facebook just like it's just not my vibe anymore.
I know. I'm hoping that it'll be automated soon, the way Instagram Reels just allowed you to automate. And then I'm like, okay, great. But for me, I mean, I had Facebook in college, and the moment for me that I deleted it was I was like 5 months pregnant, and I had no desire to post on Facebook about it. And then I was like, these, 2,000 friends of mine, if I don't even want to tell them I'm pregnant, like, why am I even here? And I deleted it that day, and I haven't looked back. But like, great business lesson. People often say, well, I don't need to be on TikTok because like I never use TikTok, or like I never click ads on Google, so I don't need to advertise there. And it's just like, you are not the customer. So I know that although I personally may not use Facebook, there are still millions of users and there's still tons of business there. And it is still an opportunity, even though I personally don't use it for myself.
Yeah. Yeah. I think for me, like a big part of like my business is that I'm really trying to tap into like my own energetics, and like if I'm not excited about it, it's not happening. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure there are plenty of, I might be leaving some money on the table by doing that, but I also like have to preserve my own kind of mental space in a way.
Absolutely. There's a question here from Elwin. Thoughts on live streaming for a products company? We are streaming on Amazon Live. I think it's a great idea. I think the consumer behavior in the Western world has not quite caught up to where it is in China, where this trend originated. So, like, do I think that within the next few years, that's live streaming and live selling is going to be huge? Yes, we're starting that way. But like, I think business is almost getting there before the audience is, just because the platform is more ready than we are. I don't know. Have you seen anything around that, Megan?
I have not, but that's interesting to hear. I have some comments on this side too. BB Eller says, hi, I'm an artist, author who is just starting out on TikTok. Welcome to TikTok.
Welcome.
Hopefully you caught some of those tips from earlier. Another comment says, are Google AdWords still the best?
We talked about this a bit earlier on the live. And by the way, I post all these lives on my YouTube channel afterwards. I don't know if you do as well, Megan, so you can catch up if you've missed it. But the long story short is that best is subjective. And even though I'm a Google Ads expert, I will not say that Google Ads are the best for every business. It really depends on your budget, your goals, your creative, your website. So a lot of different factors to determine whether Google Ads would be right for your business.
Yeah. Reels another comment here says, Reels lets you automate, or is it a third-party app? Yeah, so we both use repurpose.io. They just rolled this functionality out last week. I think there are other platforms like Metricool that let you schedule Reels out at this point, but it's something that they changed in their API, and so now schedulers can leverage that. Repurpose.io is about $25 a month, I think. So, I mean, to me, it's like totally worth it. It makes it such a breeze to just like click a button and publish things in other places. But yeah, check it out.
Yeah, I actually have a virtual assistant I work with who one of her tasks was reposting all of my TikToks to Reels. And now like she doesn't need to do that anymore. She's working on other stuff for me instead, but it's great to have that tool. Yeah. I see a comment here. Hi, I'm from Aberdeen, Scotland. And I received your email. Yes, looking forward to working with you. So half your calls come from PPC and half from search, by which you mean organic search. So yes, we're going to be doing a one-on-one coaching session together. Lovely to see you here. And then Creative Marketing Limited says, check out our blog. What's your thoughts on SEO in terms of how much a company should invest in? So SEO stands for search engine optimization. And simply, that's the way you get your business to show up on Google in the not ads part. So when you buy Google ads, when you pay for SEM, search engine marketing, that means you want to run ads on Google. SEO means doing things to your website to help it to show up and the rest of the search results, not for ads. So SEO isn't my specialty specifically, but I do like that your question here said, how much should a company invest in it? Because most people think, oh, SEO is free. And while it's true that you're not paying Google for your website to show up there, you still have to do stuff and access expertise and work on your backlinks and your keyword strategy and all that stuff. And while you can do that for free, it will take you lots and lots and lots and lots of time. Again, even though I'm a Google Ads expert, I would recommend investing in an SEO expert before you invest in an ads expert, because the things that help your website perform well organically on Google are also going to help them perform well from ads. The systems themselves are different, so buying ads does not improve your SEO. But if your website is really well optimized and Google can understand it well for SEO, that will help your ads perform better once you put money behind it. So yes, if you've been investing thousands on paid ads, now investing in SEO, I'm glad to hear you are investing in SEO. I pay someone to manage my SEO for me because it's not my specialty.
Yeah, and so I'm a web designer, so I basically build in like kind of basic SEO into the structure of the website. Talking about like header tags, alt tags, like the meta title, meta description, that kind of thing. But I optimize it from that end. But there's like a whole other content end of SEO, which is kind of an ongoing process. So if you were to hire somebody for SEO, you're most likely going to be hiring them for probably like a 6-month contract. It's not just like an instant thing. And so what they would do is they would probably write blog posts for your website that are optimized for search, that are strategically designed to target certain keywords, so that when people again go to Google and look up those specific keywords, you want those blog posts to rank within the search listings. But yeah, I'm not somebody who offers SEO on a long-term basis. I have looked at a few services that do. I mean, you're looking at a few $1,000s a month, like minimum.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we find in our agency the client's Google Ads account often plateaus and we can't scale further. Why? That is a big question. I guess my short answer for how come we can only spend so much in Google Ads and not spend more, there are many reasons that could happen. One is demand. Like people have to be searching, in order for ads to show there. Your bid, how much you're willing to pay per click or per conversion, your budget, of course. And then remember, you're not the only one there. There are thousands of competitors. So it looks like you have quite a few Google Ads specific questions. So I invite you to visit my profile and book a one-on-one with me, because I would love to dive in with that with you and see how we can scale your clients' Google Ads further.
Yeah. Any other questions, guys? Happy to answer anything marketing related, building your brand, website stuff. All of the things.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Oh, it's nice to get to hang out like this, hang out and meet folks and hang out and catch up with each other.
Yeah, definitely. I know we were doing like a kind of like a mastermind thing. I'd love to like start that up again. I don't remember. Was that your idea to do that?
Yeah, that was back in March. We got like a dozen, we called it the Women Marketing Entrepreneurs of TikTok. And we all got together, and there have been so many other great ones who joined TikTok since then. So yes, I'll have to send that email around again to do that, because that was great. I see a comment here. I really struggle with attribution tracking on Facebook. That's because Facebook's attribution is made of fairy dust. The conversion tracking is never perfect. Yeah, it's never going to be perfect. It can absolutely be better. And there's actually a third-party tool that I only learned about recently. They actually hired me to do a TikTok for them, which I did because I think the tool is so cool and I wish I knew it sooner. And it's called attributor.io. So that's one little piece of the puzzle that if you're a lead gen business could really help, but lots of other things to do there. Chloe, hey there. She's saying, yes, we should really do that. Yes, we should. The right Chloe is an insanely talented copywriter. I actually hired her to help me with my business. You should totally follow her for copywriting tips.
I have a question on this side. Any recommendations for a tech stack for simple web dev? Yes. However, I don't know how to get that information to you. Her name is Nina Pacifico. What is her like business name is like escaping me off the top of my head, but I'm sure if you Google her, you could find her. She's also on TikTok. I don't know that she's made any content on TikTok, but I know that she is on TikTok. And there's a few other people that I kind of keep in my back pocket for website projects as well. But yeah.
Comment here from the English coach. Hey, I'm an English tutor and a newbie. Enjoyed listening to you both. Very informative. We're so glad to hear that. Thank you. I'm scared to turn off PPC, to turn off my ads to gauge how much I get without it. Yeah, that is a common thing, especially when I worked at Google. The thing we were most terrified of is when a client would say, what would happen if we just turned this off? And sometimes they would, and sometimes they wouldn't. And 10 times out of 10, their business suffered when they turned it off. Now, how much their business suffered varied by degrees. But I've also had this happen by accident. I don't manage Google ads for people anymore, but one client, I kept emailing him and he didn't pay his invoice. Not to me, to Google. And so they just shut off his ads. And it took him 10 days to finally pay attention and turn them back on. And what do you know? He's a lead-based business and his leads went like this for 10 days. And then he turned them back on and they went like that. So it was the experiment we never meant to run. But if you're scared, either test it or don't test it and you'll find out what happens. A question here, when entering a competitive sector, how many months can a company expect a return in? 3 months? Not sure if you're asking about SEO or paid ads here, but either way, I would say 3 months is not long enough. With SEO, I would say probably like a 6-month bare minimum to start seeing results, and you're probably looking more like a year to 2-year time frame. Would you say that's fair, Megan?
Yeah, I mean, I always think back to like that kind of saying where they say like most businesses don't make it past 5 years. So like, I mean, the first few years of building your business are really all about like brand building, getting established online, getting kind of like your baseline kind of audience built. Yeah, that's kind of what I would say there. A lot of people try to rush it.
And you can't rush it. Even on the ad side, like if you're brand new and have never run ads before, I would say 3 months would be the bare minimum to start seeing results. So I wouldn't say you're necessarily going to see an ROI within 3 months. Because again, depends on the budget and everything, but month 1 is like straight up learning. If you get any results in month 1, good on you. But it's like you're learning the algorithm, everything's learning. In month 2, we're optimizing. So month 3 would be the first point that you might start to see results if all those tests in month 1 and 2 went well. If the stuff you tested in month 1 and 2, you learned that that's what didn't work, then you're back to square one in month 3. And I would say in my Google Ads consulting practice, like a third of the things I help agencies with are just the client management on that front. It's not even the in-platform stuff, but understanding it's not like you just turn on a Google Ads switch and boom, sales come in. There's learning as the people managing it and the system itself need to learn.
Yeah. I have some comments on this side from Chase Ryan. Currently have 3 regular clients for a social media management company, but scaling to 10 by the end of the year. Any recommendations for software to help a skeleton crew manage 10 clients? We're currently using Loomly, Canva, Trello, and Veed. It depends like what your effort is going to be and like how many channels and what channels you're going to be posting on. Like I was saying earlier, I use repurpose.io and I repurpose my content to, I don't know, five or so platforms. And it just makes it really easy to, like, if you're like, I'll just give you my strategy is I create all of my content on TikTok first, and then I just repurpose that content to other platforms. Now, this might be different if you have a different strategy about like if you want to create video and then you want that to be turned into a slideshow or something like it. Like there's a lot of variables here. For me, my strategy has been video everywhere because that's kind of where social media is heading. It's not to say you couldn't do other things with that content. You certainly could. It just like it depends on your strategy. There's like a lot of questions, and it's hard to kind of, you know, diagnose that without like knowing more about the strategy.
But I will say, like, trying to scale from 3 clients to 10 clients, that can't be achieved with just like people alone. I think the most important thing isn't about any one tool, but just systematic and repeatable processes. Like,
Yeah.
anyone can sign up for Trello. You have to actually put the stuff in Trello and make sure everyone's
Yeah.
aligned. So I would say that'll be your bigger challenge, is just getting the processes and the communication in place. The tools are there to help you do that, but no one tool can do that for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Like even getting like a kind of a workflow in place where it's like, okay, first we're posting on TikTok, then it gets uploaded to Trello. Then this person is going to make a carousel. Once they're done, they're going to put it here, and like really making it granular in that workflow and like figuring out what you want to do is going to be helpful.
Absolutely. A few questions we've had over here. One, Google Guaranteed is working well too, but most businesses don't know about it. Yeah, Google Guaranteed is this like very watered down version of Google Ads for very specific service-based business, like realtors, for example. So I won't dive into that here, but it is cool to check if it's available in your industry. It's just Janie, we're a medical training company, and Google keeps penalizing us for being a pharmaceutical. How do we get past this? It means either the content of your ads or the content on your website is raising a flag. So if you do believe it's incorrect, you can request an appeal in your Google Ads account. But if you don't have a Google rep, I expect that to go nowhere. So you're kind of SOL on that front. Try adjusting the content on your website or your ads accordingly. I'm going to go rapid fire. Oh my God, a bunch of commit. Oh my goodness. The English coach says, I have a Wix site. What do you think about its SEO service? I have heard that Wix SEO is terrible. I've heard, yeah, Megan's like, yeah, no. Answer is no. Creative Marketing Limited, Google Reps. Oh, we're about to shit on Google Reps. Google Reps heavily focused on making campaigns broad max with max conversion value. That's true. Agencies are old school. I mean, if there's an agency that would consider themselves old school, I would not hire them. We are in the age of automation, folks. What are your thoughts on the Google versus agencies battle over the decades? I have deep thoughts on this. I'm not going to say them publicly on the internet. But what I will say, like, Google versus an agency is like, you both have the same goal. Google wants to make money. Google makes money when client makes money. So Google wants the client to make money so Google can make money. Agency makes money when client makes money. It's like you want the same things, but to your point, a lot of agencies want to do things the way they've always been done. Whereas Google, we're drunk on the Kool-Aid of machine learning and automation all the way. What's best? Probably something in the middle. But that's where that tension comes from. I actually have a Google Ads blog on my website where I talk about stuff like this. And I just posted a post all about Google reps and what those teams are really like on the inside. So it sounds like you might be interested in that if you'd like to check that out on my website. Yeah.
I have one more question on this side too.
All right.
Do you find that videos made on TikTok do better than pre-made videos? Have you experimented with that?
Yeah, in theory, I would say that I would understand why TikTok's algorithm would prefer videos made in TikTok. But at the end of the day, I will just repeat again and again, like the algorithm wants one thing. It wants people to stay on TikTok as long as possible. So I think much more important than worrying about should I shoot my video in TikTok or not is like, is this a video that's going to keep the viewer on TikTok longer and share it with their friends so their friend will come open the TikTok app too? Like that matters more than any hashtag or format or font or anything, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think I definitely agree with you on that. And I think to add on to that, I think it's like use the platform that you feel most comfortable in, and that is going to be fastest for you to create content. So like for me, that's TikTok, just because it's so easy. You pop up in the app. There's plenty of editing features. I'm not trying to do anything fancy in my content, and oftentimes more produced content will do poor on TikTok. So like the more like fancy edits and like the captions and like all of the things flying in from all over the place, like can often detract from your video and make it feel less authentic on the platform that values authenticity. So do keep that in mind. take into account like your normal workflow. Where do you like feel most comfortable making videos? And that's what I would say there. I always come at this from like a more like human perspective. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, and so I will like shoot the video clips on my phone and then I edit them in TikTok. And I do that just so if like a video does really well and I want to repurpose it again, or if it like flops and I'm like, no, that had potential, so I can like edit it again from the raw clips.
Yeah.
But yeah, a question here from the same person. What's the biggest monthly spend you've ever managed? So I don't manage ads for people anymore. When I did, personally, 1K a day. When I worked at Google, $1 million a day. So take that. But yeah, I did not manage $1 million a day by myself. That was like a team of 10 people.
I have another question on this side. If Wix SEO is bad, any opinions on the best website creator with SEO services? So one thing to clarify here before I tell you my answer, you're going to have to do SEO on any of these platforms that you choose. It's not just like, it's not as simple as like SEO services. You still have to do the keyword research. You still have to, put the keywords in the places that they need to go. It's not like the website is going to do it for you. That being said, my favorite platforms are WordPress and Squarespace for service-based business and Shopify for e-commerce.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we'll wrap it up in a few minutes. So if anyone has any burning questions for Megan or I, please drop them in the chat. And if you're just joining now, this whole live will be available on my YouTube channel afterwards. And do you do that as well, Megan, or no?
I don't, but I should.
You should. Well, it'll be on mine, and maybe if you're lucky to be on Megan's as well, the link to my YouTube is in my bio. So I'm managing $1 million a day on Google Ads. What kind of things are you thinking about compared to the poor man's budget? Managing $1 million a day is actually like way easier than managing $20 a day because you just have the scale. Normally if you have $20 or $30 a day to spend on ads, it takes you a few months to like really figure out what's working. The $1 million a day, that's a really short feedback loop. So the challenge there switches until it's like, how can we spend this money? Like we have to grow. What new things are we testing? And it's also not just about the ads. Like that client had a whole team focused on website optimization. So like every single day they were testing different things on the website, colors and buttons and text, everything just to optimize little things. So there it's like the platform does a lot of the work for you. And for us, we're like, how can we make sure we're giving this machine everything it needs to grow this business as big as possible? But yeah, it's totally mine. And by the way, I left Google more than a year ago. So like that client probably spends even more than that now. My website is jyll.ca. That's jyll.ca. That's linked in my bio. I offer Google Ads coaching. If that's out of your price range, I do have a Google Ads course you can join. And yes, my TikTok DMs are closed because unfortunately I receive a lot of spam there, but my Instagram DMs are open. I have the same username over there, so please feel free to message me there. And Megan, how can folks find you?
Yeah, megangersch.com, MEGANGERSCH. I'm on Instagram. I also have a podcast, which we do every week. Make sure to check that out. It's called Your Sparkly Brand. It's available on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere. And yeah, I have lots of a few different free resources at the link in my bio you can grab as well. I have a free website checklist. I have 150 free content ideas for your TikTok or social media. And then I also have a perfect TikTok post checklist. So lots of resources for you guys. Yeah. Do you have time for one last question or you have to leave?
All right, last question before we sign off for the day. We'll have to do this again soon.
Yeah. And any recommendations for AI copywriting software and any other resources for keywording?
I have used copy.ai. I was very impressed with it. They jacked the price up, and then I was just like, I'm not getting enough value out of this for the price they're asking for. But they're all the same, by the way. All those AI copywriting platforms work off the exact same data set. So it's really just about which one you like the look of, because they're all based on the same data. I will say that. And then for keyword research, I just like to use Google Ads Keyword Planner because it's free. You have to create a Google Ads account, but you don't need to spend money on ads to use it. So that's what I like to use. But I know, I mean, it's very easy to find what some of the top ones are out there. But for me personally, I just like to stick with what's free and straight from Google, and that is the Google Ads Keyword Planner.
Yeah. I've used a few of those copywriting AI systems, and honestly, after a while, like I felt like I was doing more editing than it was like helping me. So I just stopped using it just because it's good to like kind of get like some ideas for like a bullet point kind of list for like a blog post or something like that. But I was finding I was having to like rewrite most of it. So they're definitely not perfect. I'm sure they will get better in the future. As far as like keyword resources, I typically use Ubersuggest. They have like really they have an amazing like keyword research tool within that platform that I find super helpful. And you can take a look at like what are like the top 10 rankings for this keyword, and like it's very, very organized. It's great. But well, thank you so much, Jyll. This is so fun, and we'll definitely do it again soon. And yeah, thank you everybody for
Yeah,
tuning
thank
in.
you. Thanks to you as well, Megan. Lovely to see some familiar faces today and meet some new faces as well. And we will see y'all soon. Have a good one.
Bye, guys.
Bye.